What's up, risk managers? My name is Nasdaq Anonymous, and I'm addicted to the NQ. And boy, is she one hell of a drug. And welcome to tonight's NA meeting, where we'll discuss the economic data for the week, analyze today's session, and from that, build a winning game plan for tomorrow's price action. And if you haven't done so already, you can show your support by subscribing to the channel. And with that said, let's jump into the charts now. This is tomorrow's data. And be mindful that all times are in Central Time. And we have a small block of news scheduled for tomorrow, so let's jump into it. At 12 o'clock, we have the 3-year note auction. At 1 o'clock, we have Fed Dolly speaking. And finally, at 3:30, we have some crude news being released. And now that we know what to expect, let's jump into the charts and create a game plan for tomorrow's price action. This is the block of price action that we traded during today's stream, and today was definitely a trend day. And as I analyze the charts, I see about 3 clues that's going to be essential for helping us find the best trades going into tomorrow's stream. So let's jump into it. During the overnight session, the Nasdaq opened slightly bearish and traded 1,034 points to the downside from last week's close into a previous area of support. However, once the bears failed to rotate price lower, the bulls stepped in and price rallied 826 points to the upside and seeing a 583 point rejection and a 1,688 point bounce, and price trading in a 650 point range going into the close of the session. And based on this price action, this is what I'm going to be looking for. So, for my bullish thesis, if the bulls can regain their control overnight, then I'll be watching the reaction when price trades back within a range between 840 and 850. Because this is the range where the bears broke structure to the downside going into the close of yesterday's session. And I do expect for passive sell orders to be resting around this area to sell the retest. But if they fail to regain control, then I'll be watching the reaction when price trades within a range between 890 and 920. However, for my bearish thesis, if the bears can maintain their control overnight, then I'll be watching the reaction when price trades within a range between 580 and 555. Because this is the range where the bulls established support going into the close of yesterday's session. And I do expect for passive buy orders to be resting around this area to buy the retest. But if they fail to regain control, then I'll be watching the reaction when price trades within a range between 495 and 475. Now, for those that found themselves on the wrong side of the market today, I know personally how discouraging that can make you feel. But remember, every trader has faced the same challenge, but what separates profitable traders is their ability to use these moments to refine their strategies and to keep moving forward. But I'll be monitoring both markets overnight to identify the best trades as we go into tomorrow's stream. And in summary, the Nasdaq started off the session with a 1,034 point gap to the downside. The Nasdaq saw a 1,908 point rally from the lows. And finally, the Nasdaq closed the session rejecting from supply. And that's all I have for tonight, risk managers. And you can watch us trade these concepts live by clicking this video. We'll see you there.